Hello and welcome. I hope that you are all well. It is time for my third book for September, and I am really excited about this one. It's the book I read to fulfill the prompt to read a translated book. And honestly, I didn't know what I was going to read for this prompt. I could have read a manga, and I thought of reading one of the Before the Coffee Gets Cold books, but this time around in this readathon, I'm trying to read books I haven't read before, and there are a couple that I have read before, but that's just based on the prompts that they are. So wherever possible, I'm trying to read new books. And I was glad when I thought of this book and this author. So I was looking through the shelves at the library, and I came upon Anxious People by Fredrik Backman. And so that is the book I read. It's translated by Neil Smith. And I've read two other books by this author. I've read And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer, which was amazing, and A Man Called Uwe, which is also really good. And even after reading both of those books, Anxious People surprised me in the best possible way. And it's not the easiest book to summarize or to express the humor it contains, because it doesn't seem like a humorous topic. Anxious People is the story of a bank robber who does not want to be a bank robber, who attempts to rob a bank only to discover that it's a cashless bank, who runs off attempting to hide in an apartment only to discover that it's for sale, and there's an open house and there's a group of people in the apartment. So the attempted robbery that isn't supposed to be a robbery becomes a hostage drama that isn't supposed to be a hostage drama. And as the story itself begins, a bank robbery, a hostage drama, a stairwell full of police officers on their way to storm an apartment. It was easy to get to this point, easier than you might think. All it took was one single really bad idea. Part of the book is told through flashbacks to the recent past and a decade ago past. Part of the book is told through two police officers, father and son, interviewing the hostages. Maybe it's best to set the tone by just reading part of the blurb that's on the inside flap. Looking at real estate isn't usually a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes a group of strangers hostage. The captives include a recently retired couple who relentlessly hunt down fixer-uppers to avoid the painful truth that they can't fix up their own marriage. There's a wealthy banker who has been too busy making money to care about anyone else, and a young couple who are about to have their first child, but can't seem to agree on anything, from where they want to live to how they met in the first place. Add to the mix an 87-year-old woman who has lived long enough not to be afraid of someone waving a gun in her face, a flustered but still ready to make a deal real estate agent, and a mystery man who has locked himself in the apartment's only bathroom. And you've got the worst group of hostages in the world. Each one of them carries a lifetime of grievances, hurts, and passions that are ready to boil over. None of them is entirely who they appear to be, and all of them, the bank robber included, desperately crave some sort of rescue. As the authorities and the media surround the premises, these reluctant allies will reveal surprising truths about themselves and set in motion a chain of events so unexpected that even they can hardly explain what happens next. I'll be entirely honest with you. This was my first 5-star read of the month. So this is the book that I have enjoyed the most up to this point. It's a story of friendship and forgiveness. And what should you read for a similar experience? I'm only going to talk about one book today. If you want a book with unexpected friendships, characters who save one another, I am going to say you should read another book by this author. I don't have it here with me. It's probably the author's most famous book, and it's A Man Called Uwe. I've talked about the book previously, so here I'll just say this. It's the story of a man who feels like he's lost everything and the unexpected friendship that brings him back to life. My prompt was to create a journal page, so it's part mood board, part journal spread. And there's a book review and a couple of images that remind me of the story, and I really enjoyed making this, and I'm thinking that this is a great way to catch up on my book journal entries. And there it is. So book title, images, summary of the book, 5 stars. And there we are. I hope that you enjoyed this look at Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, and one other book, Where Friendships Save Lives. My next book, which we'll talk about next week, is My Salty Mary by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. It's the 3rd of the Marys series by these authors, and if their names seem familiar to you, I have talked about the other 2 books, the other 2 Mary books that they have written. I'm really excited about this one too. So I hope that you'll join me then. And until then, I hope that you enjoy all that you do and all that you read. And thank you.